Kidnapping in Nigeria has become a thriving business enterprise to the extent that it has metamorphosed into an ecosystem of organized crime. People are kidnapped at will from anywhere and everywhere. Victims now include the entire social spectrum rather than being confined to the rich. On March 7, 2024, the nation was greeted with another sad news of the kidnap of 287 pupils and students of Leah secondary and primary schools and the killing of an individual who confronted the bandits in Kuriga village, Kaduna State. Three days prior, on March 4th, about 200 women in an IDP camp in Gamburu, Ngala in Borno State were also abducted by bandits. The gunmen who stormed the village in their numbers demanded a whopping R1 billion, 150 motorbikes and 11 Hilux jeeps as ransom. They threatened to kill the 287 students if the Kaduna state government refused to meet their demands.
We protect the lives and properties of our citizens, and we ensure that by the grace of God, every child return home by the grace of God. With the security agencies, just an hour ago, I discussed with the National Security Advisor. He has assured me they are also working, and I've also spoke with the GOC Women Mechanized Division. He has also assured me they are also trying. Here we are with the Commissioner of Police and the Director of SSS, and all of them are working closely with the connected government under my leadership. No child will be left behind. All of them will come back by the grace of Inshallah.
President Bola Tinubu, who frowns at ransom payments, gave a stern directive during the Federal Executive Council meeting on Wednesday that no individuals, families, groups, organizations or foreigners should pay ransom to release people from the hands of bandits and kidnappers, insisting that the federal government has what it takes to secure the release of the victims unhurt and reunite them with their families. Minister of Information and National Orientation Mohammed Idris, while addressing journalists after the FEC meeting, further reiterated President Tinubu's zero tolerance for ransom payment, stating that all hands are on deck to curb acts capable of causing insecurity in Nigeria. The minister said skirmishes of attacks reported in some parts of Nigeria are soft targets for criminals because security agents have decimated the majority of the bandits in their hideouts.
Like we always say, we don't encourage payment of ransom. And we always tell family members of victims to always involve security operatives. We know how to go about it. We can talk, negotiate to make sure we rescue those innocent individuals. But let me assure you, whatever it is, we always get them arrested. It's better for us place our strategies to rescue these victims first before any other thing. People started attacking the government, attacking police and other security agencies when they said ransom was paid to rescue the students in Nekiti. The family members did not involve the police in any payment. You are not aware of that. But the fact in issue is that we got more information on them and we went after them. In Ekiti Command, I've been informed that some of them have been charged to court in Ekiti. This is the one IOT operatives have been able to arrest. He will still go to court because the jurisdiction of the offense is Ekiti State. So I'm sure they are still going to prosecute him and join him with others who are before the court of law in Ekiti for necessary prosecution. We want to urge you that when a case of this nature occurs, please involve us. We know how to go about it. I can assure you, with our experts we have, with the little equipment we have, we can still perform wonders. Always involve us. They will work on your psyche not to tell the police, not to tell any security operatives. That is their own way. That is their own strategy. Then we have our own strategy. Always involve us. We know how to go about it. Our main target is to rescue all victims on hurt. They must be alive and to be united with their families. We don't want a soul to be lost in Nigeria. The soul of a Nigerian is so important to us, and we do whatever we should to protect all Nigerians.
In the aftermath of the demand made by abductors of the 287 students and a statement from Pan-Yoruba Socio-Cultural Organization Afenifere urging President Tinubu to go after sponsors of terror, the special advisor to the president on media and publicity, Mr. Ajuri Ngelale, in a media chat with a TV station, posited that the sub-regional forces may be responsible for the spike in banditry and surge of kidnappings in Nigeria, maintaining that the federal government is responding to the conspiracy of the sub-regional forces.
We want to be very clear with our people that you have a multifarious set of dynamics that lead to this, right? First of all, the president has been very clear that this is an administration of no excuses. If you look at other parts of the countries that were in flames before he took office, such as the Southeast and parts of the Southwest, for example, you will know the level of work that has gone into securing our nation. Where we still have some challenges is in the North Central and the Northwest, and to a lesser extent in the Northeast. There's still a lot of work to be done. The Kaduna access, I remember the time when you could not travel by road, the Abuja-Kaduna highway. You're able to do that now. The problem is when you have these far-flung communities, we do have these hit-and-run incidences of not just violence and killings, but obviously kidnappings and hostage-taking. I think that there's going to have to be some sort of robust legislative reform that makes it clear to every citizen of our country that if you kidnap anybody, you will be killed by the justice system. There will be a death penalty attached to it. I don't know that this can be solved if you don't do that and see to the implementation of it. But I will say this, across the North, we understand that some of the sub-regional forces, sub-regional geopolitical forces that are currently at play are actively conspiring against the stability of the Nigerian nation. We understand that, and we are not sleeping on that. We are responding to it, and we're doing it in a way that is concerted with our neighbors. And it is worth noting that the United States government has also pledged its assistance to ensure that there is a full return of all of the school children who were kidnapped recently in Kaduna. But the point is, we are going to continue to intensify our collaboration, not just within the region, but internationally, to make sure that some of the regional actors that are conspiring against our nation are brought to justice and ultimately silenced in the future of our country.
There appears to be no end in sight to banditry and kidnappings despite numerous attempts to put them out of business and the onslaught carried out by the Nigerian police force and other security agencies to decimate the clusters of kidnappers and terrorists in their hideouts dotted around various forests across the country. To curtail the excess of kidnapping in the FCT and its suburbs between December 2023 and February 2024, IGP Olukayode Egbetokun launched a Special Intervention Squad SIS in the FCT to tackle the spike of abductions in Abuja. Within 2 weeks of the SIS operations, kidnapping camps were destroyed amidst gun duels that saw the neutralization of many kidnappers, including Abubakar Wada, an associate of Musa Wada. Several of them were arrested, including the arrest of Bello Muhammad Yellow, the assailant behind the kidnapping and killing of Bawari. But the police would not relent in its effort to weed off these criminal elements. The Inspector General of Police, IGP Kayode Egbetokun, in his usual pragmatic and proactive approach to curbing crimes, visited Kaduna State to confer with the governor on steps being taken by the police authority and other security agencies to rescue the victims. While empathizing with the families of the kidnapped victims, IGP Olukayode Egbetokun promised to deploy all machinery in the arsenal of the Nigeria Police Force, including kinetic and non-kinetic approaches, to ensure that the victims were rescued alive and reunited with their families. To prove his readiness to fast-track their rescue, the IGP immediately deployed units of the Mobile Anti-Riot Squad and the Special Intervention Squad to comb all the nooks and crannies of the state, including some known hideouts of terrorists and bandits, to rescue the students taken hostage by bandits. The IGP says one strategy for weakening the resilience of bandits and kidnappers is to stop the influx of illegal arms used in perpetrating crimes in Nigeria. We are focusing on the routes where these arms originate. IGP Egbetokun hinted that the police is collaborating with other agencies like the Customs Service, Nigeria Immigration Service, and departments of state security to solve the problems of kidnapping.
Your Excellency, I'm in your office today, first of all, in solidarity with you over the unfortunate incident of abduction of school children at Riga community in Kaduna State. This is not the time to make comments about this. It is time to get into action to ensure that we do everything possible to ensure the safe return of these abducted children. Your Excellency, I want to assure you that the police leadership and indeed the leadership of all security agencies in Nigeria are as concerned as you are over the safety of these children. And we are going to do everything possible with you to ensure that they return safely. We will adopt all strategies, including non-kinetic approaches, to ensure that these children are rescued or are released safely. Your Excellency, I'm also here to thank you for all the support that you have been giving to the police in Kaduna State, for the support that you have pledged to give to us while we are deploying adequately to the affected community at Kuriga. I have instructed the AIG PMF to immediately deploy a unit of PMF to that community, if only to give confidence to the people. The men will be deployed, and with the support that you have pledged to give, I'm sure that the community will start to feel safe again. Your Excellency, I'm here today because we have plans to visit you earlier. We are launching the Special Intervention Squad for Kaduna State. We scheduled this launching for the month of April of this year, which is next month. That was the original time I was planned to visit Kaduna. But this unfortunate incident of school abduction had fast-tracked my visit to this state today.
Today, we are more encouraged with the commitment shown to us by the Inspector General of Police. And we have had some series of conversation and with the Inspector General of Police, which most of the conversation I cannot be able to disclose here because of the security reason. But we are extremely confident that the school children, by the grace of God, will return back home safely. And of course, we will do everything to ensure that we work closely with the relevant security agencies in Nigeria to ensure that our children are back home safely. And I'm also happy with the decision by the Inspector General of Police to quickly deploy mobile base in our Kuriga community. He has assured me that will happen in the next few days, And as a government, we will provide them with accommodation, with everything to ensure that the police, the mobile police that will be deployed to Kuriga community, well kept there without any problem. And we will also try as much as possible to give them all the necessary support. Like I always say, as a government, the major responsibility of any government is the protection of lives and property of the citizens. I want to use this opportunity again, the second time, for the media to be very careful. Only a few days ago, the media went out with a very sensational report about Kaduna State government hiring any person to negotiate. We don't do that in Kaduna State. We always rely on the expertise of the security agencies in Nigeria. They're very capable. We'll support them, and by the grace of God, we'll succeed in bringing the children back home.
Fighters promoting security consciousness.
I appeal to members of the public to cooperate with the police in their communities, give us information, we will protect you, we will make use of every piece of information you make available to us, we will act on them, and it will be for the good of the community and your good. Thank you.
Fighters promoting security consciousness.
To underscore the importance of the IGP's mission to Kaduna, the Deputy Inspector General of Police in charge of the Force Intelligence Department, DIG Habu Sani, the Deputy Inspector General of Police in charge of Operations, DIG Ede Ayuba Ekbeji, and the Assistant Inspector General of Police in charge of Mobile Force, AIG Ekini Adio Ayoku, were on ground to supervise the strategic deployment of personnel for the rescue mission. In recent years, Nigeria has seen a sharp increase in kidnappings. This has resulted in victims' families paying billions of naira as ransom to secure the release of their loved ones from the hands of abductors. The audacity of these criminal elements calls for question. Many Nigerians can still not understand why they were subjected to harrowing pain for multiple registrations. Many government establishments, especially the Nigeria Communication Commission (NCC) and Nigerian banks, insisted that every individual in Nigeria must link their national identity number (NIN) with their mobile phone SIMs. According to the former Minister of Communication and Digital Economy, Alhaji Isa Ali Pantami, the essence of the exercise is to track all criminals and checkmate activities of bandits, kidnappers, and online scammers.
When a SIM is being used, that GPS will try to narrow the position to not more than maybe this building that the call is coming from this direction. The facilities are available. As I said earlier, not all security issues are discussed in public. With the recent ban of SIM registration, we have been receiving reports of commendation from people that are charged with the responsibility of securing our country. Criminals used to use SIM in only one communication. Sometimes they can use 100 SIMs within 24 hours using one mobile phone. Now, most of them exhausted the SIMs with them. If they continue to repeat and recycle the SIM, they can easily be intercepted. If they fail to use them, then they will find it difficult to communicate. So no matter how you feel uncomfortable with that ban, it's not up to 1% of the heat they are feeling today. So that is why we must make sacrifices for our country to be a better place.
The spike in insecurities among the many challenges bedeviling Nigeria. The report made available by Nigeria Security Tracker (NST) shows that 19,366 Nigerians have fallen victim in the hands of the men of the underworld, and 2,694 kidnapping incidences have been reported for over a decade between 2013 to 2023. Available data shows that the cases of kidnapping have been astronomical since 2014 across all the regions in Nigeria. 31 cases were reported in 2013 with 351 kidnap victims, 84 in 2014, and 897 victims were recorded. In 2015, 11 cases were made known, while 926 victims were affected. 137 cases came to the public domain in 2016, and 347 victims were affected. In 2017, 141 were mentioned, with 532 victims. Meanwhile, in 2018, 157 kidnap cases were reported, and 1,014 victims were affected. There was an increase in 2019 in which 331 cases were reported, with 1,421 victims involved. 439 cases of kidnap were recorded in 2020, with 2,879 victims, 590 in 2021, and 5,287 victims were unlucky. In 2022, 515 victims of kidnap were reported, with 4,680 victims and 199 cases in the first 6 months of 2023, with 1,384 victims. It will be recalled that mass abduction of persons began in Nigeria in 2014 when 276 teenage girls were kidnapped from a secondary school hostel in Chibok, Borno State by the Boko Haram Islamist fundamentalist. Kidnapping for ransom later assumed an alarming commercial venture that has spread across the 36 states of the Federation.
Fighters promoting security consciousness.
The bulk of crime that are being perpetrated across the country could be traced to the doorsteps of youth. Like I said, cultism is basically a youth affair. Kidnapping is that they have tasted the juicy nature of illicit trade. So it's always becoming a vocation. But my advice to youth generally is that they should go back to the traditional African culture. In Africa, the training we had when we were coming up is that of hard work. We honor people based on their integrity and the integrity of honesty, humility, and hard work. But the get-rich-quick syndrome has sort of eroded the moral values.
Fighters promoting security consciousness.